Un momento, prego, la chiamano per una collettiva. Bleiben Sie bitte am Apparat, Sie werden für ein Konferenzgespräch verlangt. Un instant, s'il vous plaît, on vous demande pour une conversation conférence. Un moment.
Pronto? Ciao Poppy! Adesso vi passo Chiara!
Cari miei, dobbiamo fare un giro per il mondo. Sarà lunghetto perché il mondo è un po' grande.
Allo? Pronto? Siamo tutti?
È una conferenza telefonica dove io do un pensiero spirituale forte che tutti viviamo insieme. Quando chiamiamo queste 80 zone rispondono: ciao, come va? Come stai? Per cui è tutta una famiglia che vive, è una meraviglia. Avevo per scopo di farci fare un santo viaggio, un viaggio dunque verso la santità.
Ciao a tutti.
Hello, everyone.
Ciao a tutti.
Hi. Welcome once more to the linkup. We have already taken a quick tour around the world. Many of you will have recognized yourselves in the photos from the previous linkup. But we know that now, too, you are following us in many places around the world, on your own, with your families, in small groups, or together with the whole community. We also know that maybe someone in Bangkok has woken up in the middle of the night in order to follow this link up. But if you would like to send us some photos, you can do so. You will see the phone number where you can send these. I am Annalisa. We are at the International Focolare Center in Rocca di Papa, near Rome, Italy, and there are about 200 of us. Like a family in all the world, the link up wants to unite us. And it helps us to share what we are living. And so in a family, you are together, you share what you are living. And I think that in this moment, more than anything, each one and everywhere, all over the world, we have at our hearts is peace. And for this reason, the underlying theme of this link-up is peace. As you can see, we have some cubes here. I'm sure many of us that the first one was the cube of love that Chiara created to help us live the art of loving, taken from the gospel. And then from that first cube, many others were introduced. Among these, there is also the peace cube. We have one here. What is your name? Samuele. And you are? I'm a Gen 4. So, instead of numbers, there are phrases that help to live the art of loving and peaceful relationships. So even this evening, we're going to throw it. What has come out? I love the other person. So we'll take this as our motto to live during this evening or this whole day. So thank you, Samuele. I love the other person. So, loving the others, we build peace. And peace, this evening, we will speak about it in many ways. Peace, which we are working and praying as end to all conflicts, but also peace within ourselves, peace when we establish relationships near and far, and peace with nature around us, but also peace as experiences and expressions of cooperation, of solidarity, of lived fraternity. So we start with some stories with you, the voices from the world, this item where we bring stories from various countries. And this evening, we're going to see one which tells us how peace is making its way silently through courageous choices from the community of New Caledonia in the Pacific Ocean. Or another story which takes shape in simple gestures that spread the experience of fraternity, as was the case between Brazil and Guinea-Bissau. Let us have a look.
La Nouvelle-Calédonie est située dans l'océan Pacifique à 1500 km.
New Caledonia, located in the Pacific Ocean, 1,500 kilometers from Australia, is going through a difficult phase in its history. In mid-May, violent clashes broke out in the capital and in other towns in the south. The country has been shaken by strong tensions between the different political camps, some wanting to remain a French colony, others aiming for independence. But in this chaos, there are powerful moments. There's so much solidarity and love. Everyone is holding hands. We experienced a very strong moment during a prayer for peace, organized together with the whole Focolare community of Oceania. Our testimony touched everyone's heart, and we felt the support of all those who pray for us. One person said, "I was very happy and I feel that things will improve, that we will get out of this situation." Another said, "I'm going home with peace in my heart."
Alexis, a colleague of my sister Samantha who lives with us, was unable to return home and was forced to sleep at his workplace near the riots. Together, we decided to invite him to stay at home with us. We got to know each other and shared not only food, but also strong moments. We really lived the present moment. Being away from his children, the presence of our children comforted him. On the last evening, during our evening prayers, Alexis said, "Thank you, my God, because it is you who brought me to this house. Thank you for these children who have brought me comfort." Our children drew pictures representing peace. We are grateful that we found Alexis on our path. He has allowed us, in our small way, to be seeds of unity, peacemakers.
Io sono Ercilia e questo è mio marito Giampaolo.
Io sono Ercilia e questo è mio marito.
My husband, Giampaolo. We are Brazilian volunteers. 5 years ago, a Focolarina who knew the needs in Portuguese-speaking African countries asked us for financial help for the education of some children in a school run by the Franciscans. We arranged this with our family and also with some members of the Focolare movement and started to give this help every year. This Focolarina became very sick, and before she died, she asked me not to abandon those children, especially the girls, who in most cases did not go to school because their parents did not have the minimum fee to pay. We continued with this help, but we never thought of going there.
I thought that living this experience together would be a tangible way to respond and contribute to being called and sent.
When we decided to go to Africa, we learned that a community was being established in the capital of Bissau. We immediately got in touch with the Focolare in Ivory Coast, responsible for that region, to find out how we could help and meet them.
We made a program, 1 week at the school in Bloom and 2 weeks in the community of Bissau, the capital. Despite the difficulties and hardships, the people we met there were dignified, enthusiastic, joyful, with a great ability to overcome problems. We met young people, children and adults there. We truly experienced what it means to be one with our neighbor.
There we understood the importance of simplicity and openness to build peace in the world, and also the confirmation of our renewed yes.
Semplicità.
Simplicity and openness to building peace. We have just heard this. There are also two words that express the 24th of May. We're here at the International Center. 100 children and young people came over.
On the 24th of May, a group of children from the movement from different countries visited the International Center of the Focolare in Rocca di Papa. They were in Italy for the first World Day of Children, organized by Pope Francis, which took place in Rome on the 25th and 26th of May. More than 70,000 children took part.
Oui, moi je suis contente d'avoir eu cette chance de...
I'm happy that I was chosen to represent Burundi and to come here to Italy to meet Pope Francis. I'm one of the lucky ones who will be sitting next to the Pope.
Enfant qui se rend à côté du pape.
I was so moved to come here and see Pope Francis. I am very happy to get to know about the Focolare movement and to see how to help children all over the world.
I have never been to Rome before. It was very tiring to travel all night without my parents. I am very happy to be here in Chiara's house. It's very beautiful and quiet and peaceful, and you can feel a beautiful atmosphere.
In the chapel, I wrote a letter asking for peace in the world.
We prepared very well for this meeting. We got presents to give to all the children. When we went to see Margaret, our presents for Margaret was a rug.
For me, an act of love means doing something practical. If a child wants to sit down and all the seats are already taken and you are about to sit down, you give up your seat and you stay standing.
Here at the International Center, the recent weeks were marked by important moments. On the 3rd of June, 3 Fons visited, namely the kings of the Cameroon region of the Bangwa people, the Fons of Fontem, the Fons of Fonjumeton, and the Fons of Nkar, with their delegations. After a moment of welcome and greetings, they were able to meet Margaret Karram and Jesús Morán, president and co-president of the Focolare movement. Then they were able to visit the house where Chiara Lubich had lived, and they renewed a pact, a solemn commitment to unity, recalling the one made by a group of Fons with Chiara herself in Fontem in the year 2000. The Fons' presence here at the center was also motivated by their participation in the large international interreligious meeting held from the 31st of May to the 4th of June, which was attended by 480 people from 40 countries. Here with us are Rita Musalem and Antonio Salimbeni. Welcome. They are the people responsible for the Focolare Movement's Center for Interreligious Dialogue. Interreligious dialogue is one of the characteristics of the Focolare Movement, one of the dialogues that characterizes it. Chiara Lubich had the intuition of this in 1977, when she received the Templeton Prize for Progress in Religion in London, Great Britain. Since then, the worldwide diffusion of the Focolare spirit has contributed to opening a dialogue with all the major religions of the world. A path that even Chiara had not imagined at the beginning, and that God had revealed to her over time, through events and circumstances. A path to pursue towards unity. Let us hear from Chiara's own voice what her relationship was with people of various religions. In this answer, given on the 3rd of November 2002, and reading the question is Giuseppe Maria Zanghi, one of the first Focolarini.
La domanda è questa. Vorremmo chiedere.
We'd like to ask you, Chiara, how you feel about your relationship with other religions. How does it make you feel within your heart?
Dentro di te.
Ecco, col rapporto con gli altri fedeli di altre religioni, io mi sono sempre trovata benissimo.
I've always felt very comfortable in my contacts with the faithful of other religions. Even though we are different from one another, we have a lot in common. And this unites us. Instead, diversity attracts us. It arouses our curiosity. So I like these contacts for 2 reasons. Because I get to know new things, I enter into the culture of others, and also because I find brothers and sisters who are like me, because we have many beliefs in common. The most important of all, as I told you the last time I was here, is the famous golden rule, which says, do not do to others what you wouldn't want them to do to you. This sentence can be found in all the most important religions, in their scriptures, in their sacred books. And it's also in the Gospel for Christians. This sentence, do not do to others what you wouldn't want them to do to you, means treat your brothers and sisters well. Have great respect for them. Love them. And so, when they discover this sentence in their scriptures, and I discover the same words in my scriptures, I love, they love, and so we love one another. And this is the basis, the first step towards universal fraternity. So the first thing is to live the golden rule. The second part of your question, what do I feel in my heart when I meet a brother or sister of another religion? I immediately feel a great desire to become friends, to build unity, to have this relationship as brothers and sisters.
E veniamo all'oggi del dialogo.
So let us come to the present day of interreligious dialogue. Rita, we spoke about the significant interreligious event which has just concluded with the title One Human Family. What was behind this event?
She's checking her microphone.
Vediamo un attimo, non funziona il microfono di Rita.
Let's see.
Come abbiamo sentito, no, da Chiara.
As we've just heard from Chiara, many brothers and sisters of different religions who've profoundly welcomed the light that God gave Chiara and have made the life of the ideal of unity their own, even though remaining firm in their own religious identity. In recent years, fellowship has grown among many of them, both young and adults of great human and spiritual depth. And after we began to have meetings online, and at one point, the desire, indeed the need that's been growing was that we would meet in person here at the centre, at the heart of the Focolare movement, where everyone feels at home, and to invite many others from the various religions who adhere in some way to the spirit of the movement. We'd invite them so we could share what is being lived and to look together at today's challenges and to give witness to a living fraternity. More than a year ago, we formed a core group with representatives of some of the people from the various religions, together with us from the Centre for this Dialogue, to carry out this project together. It's been a very powerful experience, rich and demanding, and not without challenges and obstacles. When the tragic situation in the Holy Land erupted, we were almost paralyzed with grief. And for a few months, we couldn't manage to meet. There was only silence. But with the silence, there was a deep listening to the distress that was being lived on both sides. Then, at a certain point, a decision was taken by the people most involved. They said, we have to go ahead. The love between us is stronger than this, and we must bear witness to it. If we don't do it, who will? So we went ahead. But then there was another challenge. The great economic difficulty, both in different parts of the world and also here at the centre. And we asked, but how can we cover all these expenses? It's an expense that might appear not as a priority today, but there's so many things that are needed around us. But here too, everyone was determined to work and to put together what we have and whatever we could find to make this meeting possible. Because for them, this meeting was a place where they could really be filled with love and with hope. And God's response wasn't long in coming. A friend of ours left a legacy of a sum of money precisely for the interreligious dialogue during those days. And the chain of generosity didn't stop. But what followed was beyond all our possible expectations. Maybe we can offer you a few glimpses.
Yes, and in this way, we too enter this event.
When we reached here, we met so many friends we have been meeting over the years, and the input that we got in this seminar earlier, sometimes our seminars tended to be academic. But here, all were life experiences. And we understood how interreligious dialogue done with sincerely can give so much positivity.
There were 480 participants from 40 countries at the Interreligious conference entitled One Human Family, promoted by the Focolare movement and held from May 31st to June 4th, 2024 in Castel Gandolfo, Rome, and Assisi. Jews, Muslims, Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, Sikhs, Baha'i, and followers of traditional African religions were present.
L'impression, c'est l'émerveillement.
The impression is one of wonder in front of this plurality, this field of flowers, of all the spiritualities that are present, and where each one is really touched. And I see it's not that we're here to please ourselves, but that each one is nourished. Dialogue is the consequence of love. It's because I love you and I'm ready to give everything to you, that I'm fully ready to listen to you and fully prepared to share with you and to journey together towards a common spirituality that respects differences.
Qui respecte les différences.
These 2 days of being together with all our brothers and sisters of the Focolare were very beautiful moments in diversity, in variety. And everyone had the opportunity to open their hearts and show who they are. Happy, free, and it is a very beautiful thing that everyone experienced who they really are in truth.
ให้ทุกคนสัมผัสสิ่งที่ตัวเองเป็นอย่างแท้จริง
È un seme di speranza enorme.
It's a huge seed of hope that we have the chance to look towards unity and peace.
C'è un crescente anche sentimento.
There's also a growing feeling of hostility between communities, something even along religious divides. But at the same time, we have to recognize that, on the other hand, religions are among the most active forces that want to resist this process.
At a time of divisions and conflicts, and with a focus on the path traced out by Chiara Lubich, there were many topical testimonies and issues addressed. From how to conceive a politics and an economy of peace, to the impact of artificial intelligence in relationships, to the commitment to care for the planet.
I
think it was a very meaningful conference, also in a practical sense, because it addressed head-on the issues of economic inequality, economics, and technology, which have become big challenges in our lives, globally and also in Asia.
The legacy that Chiara left for us, this deep bonds and relationship among the different movements for interreligious dialogue, it has been an incredible journey. And I would argue that at this stage, it is now a moment for maturity. For example, today, we had the presentation by Shanti Ashram Youth together with Risho Kosekai and Focolare to suggest a permanent leadership incubator of young leaders of the three movements to constantly deepen these bonds. This is a moment for new beginnings.
This is living, the word becoming flesh and living and dwelling among us. But we know now, from what we're hearing, that we can't stay here. But most of the world haven't seen this, so it's our job to share it. We have to share it to them. with the spirit of love that we've embraced.
And after these first days at the Mirapolis Center at Castel Gandolfo, a delegation of 200 participants was received by Pope Francis.
Yes, exactly. Already in the very early meetings we had with this core group, made up of people from different religions, and with this core group we prepared the whole program at the conference. Many of them were telling us the joy, the desire to be able to have a time with the Holy Father, because they really wanted to give to him the experience of fraternity we are living together, an experience that goes well beyond just the dialogue, and that is feeling we are part of the same family with the same root in the spirituality of Chiara. We wrote this to the dicastery of Interreligious Dialogue. If we could have a meeting with the Holy Father, it was amazing to see among all these people the love they have for Pope Francis. Truly, they see him as a great religious leader, but above all, they see in him a person who is truly dedicated, committed to building peace, care for creation. And what they appreciate the most is his commitment and how much value he gives to interreligious dialogue. And you can see this in the many initiatives that over the years he has set up. So you can imagine the joy when a few weeks before the conference itself, we finally got the reply from the dicastery saying that Pope Francis was glad to allow us a private audience, as you said, for 200 people of the conference, representing everybody was there. So that on Monday, the 3rd of June, we left Castel Gandolfo and we arrived at the Vatican. There, in the beautiful Clementine Hall, we truly had a strong experience of God with Pope Francis. He confirmed us, encouraging the journey we're taking, and above all, he wanted to give a sign of personal love for each one of us, greeting us one by one. So it was moving at the end of this moment to see the light, the joy in all these brothers and sisters from different faiths that were bringing in their hearts something they will never forget.
The joy and emotion can be seen in these images, and we will see some of these images now. We'll also listen to some excerpts of the Pope's talk.
I express my gratitude for the perseverance with which the work of Mary continues the journey begun by Chiara Lubich, fostering unity with people of non-Christian religions who share the spirituality of unity. This has been a revolutionary journey that has done much good to the Church. Dear friends, your witness is a source of joy and a source of consolation, especially in this time of conflict, when religion is often misused in order to fuel division. Indeed, interreligious dialogue is a necessary condition for peace in the world. And so it is a duty for Christians as well as other religious communities. I encourage you then to move on, go forward, and remain always open.
It was really an emotional moment, and it was a day that continued with a visit to some significant places in Rome, and the next day, the last stage in Assisi. In Assisi, you were welcomed by the Franciscans for a day organized in collaboration with the Laudato Si movement. And the Bishop of Assisi, Monsignor Domenico Sorrentino, accompanied them to the location of the spoliation, where St. Francis, stripping himself of his clothes, chose the path of poverty, giving himself to God alone. This moment in Assisi was truly a pilgrimage of fraternity. But why is Assisi so important? Let's listen.
We came as pilgrims from different religions, traditions, and faiths, because St. Francis represents a symbol and a model for us. We visited the place of spoliation, where Francis was born as a spiritual man, as a free man.
Assisi and St. Francis of Assisi brings to the world also a very deep message that peace has to begin with us. When we build peace within us, we can build peace around us.
Pero cuando uno piensa en Asís,
when you think of Assisi, you think of St. Francis and this lesson of discarding everything we put upon ourselves, layer after layer, that hides our true humanity, what we really are and what we should strive for in life.
Deberíamos pelear en la vida.
For me, it's also special because my parents, Dr. M. Aram and Mrs. Aram, their ashes rest here. They're Franciscans as an honor to Mahatma Gandhi, but also as an honor to the work that my parents did for Interreligious Dialogue, gave him a place to rest.
Francis is a symbol for interreligious dialogue in general, and in particular the Islamic-Christian dialogue. His meeting with the Sultan and the courage to meet the so-called enemy who became a friend. The courage to meet, to listen, but without compromise. The suffering of one part is the suffering of all, and the suffering of one part is the suffering of humanity.
I want to tell you a story. During the Shoah, during the Holocaust, the city of Assisi hid hundreds of Jews in its monasteries. But the most moving thing is that everyone, absolutely everyone, was saved. We're talking about peace in the everyday gestures of people of faith who lived in the monasteries of Assisi, who did not hesitate to risk their lives to save the lives of others. This certainly brings peace.
There is conflict, hunger, insecurity, inequality. And the message from Assisi is loud and clear. Let us work together.
Each one of us is the hope of the other, because we know that our interreligious solidarity is a condition for our credibility. We try to give a message of hope to everyone, that peace is possible, that peaceful coexistence already exists. We can also make mistakes. We learn from our mistakes, but we continue. We'll not turn back.
Ma continuiamo, non torniamo indietro.
It was in Assisi, after this pilgrimage of fraternity, we asked Margaret Karram and Jesús Morán their impressions after these rich, profound, surprising days.
È stato davvero un laboratorio di fraternità.
It was truly a workshop of fraternity, and I really saw the transforming action of God in the lives of each one of us. It was powerful to see people of various religions treating each other as brothers and sisters. In this period of darkness, of pain, there was a sense of hope, of peace, because the theme was peace within ourselves, peace with creation, and peace for humanity. So everything contributed to us experiencing, first of all, this peace among us.
I don't think I've ever experienced such a profound moment of communion with people of other religions, because in fact the diversity was enormous. We met first and foremost as people, because of love, for this was our shared starting point. We wanted to experience an encounter in mutual love.
The impressions I gathered were that several people said that they had come here as individuals, each with their own religion, from their own country, but they realized they were a community. There was the sense of community, the sense of togetherness, and this, I think, gave courage and also enkindled hope in everyone's hearts. There were some very moving moments. I can say that I have witnessed real miracles during these days. In spite of all the hatred and discord in the world.
I'd like to say one more thing. It's the fact that in this meeting, there was also a rediscovery of one's own identity. So there was no moment of confusion, no syncretism. Each person kept their own identity. Therefore, in the encounter with the other, you rediscovered your own religious experience, but at the same time purified of so many things that you keep inside and that are not genuine. You find yourself with your religious identity, but without dogmatism, without the encrustations and impurities that we put in and which separate us from the other. The Pope, when he met us, said, it's something revolutionary. Something revolutionary. It's something that is revolutionary for the Church, revolutionary for humanity.
Infatti l'incontro con il Papa è stato bellissimo.
In fact, the meet with the Pope was beautiful. He said that it gave him consolation. It gave him joy. And he also said that this group, which was there in front of him, goes beyond dialogue because it really does not only dialogue together, but is building humanity, fraternity between people. And then the strongest impression of the participants was to feel this gaze of the Pope for each one, because he wanted to greet them one by one.
Salutare uno ad uno.
I think this meeting also marked the beginning of a new phase in the dialogue, because in all these years that we've met and we've walked a pathway together, now we need to set specific goals for humanity. First of all, peace, as you said, without a doubt. But not only peace, because the religions have so much to say on the economy, on ecology, on international relations, on so many issues. We must work actively because we've discovered the resource that religions are today in the context of the worldwide ecumene. People often thought that religions were obstacles, but we've seen that instead of being obstacles, religions are an enormous resource, a pre-political resource that can help transform even politics.
And then we concluded this pilgrimage. precisely in Assisi, the city of peace. Our intention was that this pilgrimage should be spiritual, but also tangible. I think we only have to thank God for the blessings and graces He has given us. And I think we will still have a lot to tell the whole movement about this great event, which was an experience. It was not a conference, it was an experience we lived. I think this meeting bore a lot of fruit, not only for the people who attended, but I think it will have an impact on the whole Focolare movement.
Yes, it was definitely an experience, not a conference, a true experience, a seed of new beginnings. We thank Rita and Antonio who helped us to tell us about this experience. And we come to the end of this link-up. As you know, you can watch the link-up again on the YouTube channel. You can watch it again or share individual contributions and stay up to date by clicking on the bell. And if the Interreligious meeting was an experience rather than an event, we believe that the next large meeting of the young people of the Focolare movement, the Genfest 2024, will also be like that. The same desire for lived peace and fraternity is the driving force that moves and unites the young people. Here, peace is realized through taking care, as the title says. The International Genfest will be held in Brazil, but 40 other Genfests will be held around the world. Each one will start with the first phase, in which young people will experience volunteer work and solidarity in various social organizations. The second phase will have a main event from the 19th to the 21st of July 2024 in Aparecida, Brazil, with an online link-up with countries around the world. And finally, the third phase, entitled Journey and Citizenship, with practical proposals related to integral ecology, dialogue, peace, and the common good. And here this evening there is Margaret, Karram and Jesús Morán, who are both leaving for Brazil soon and will be attending the Genfest. We wish you a good trip, and we will follow the preparations and events of the Genfest, and we'll do so thanks to the social channels and the Focolare.org website. And soon we will find some novelties. And the Genfest in Brazil and around the world will be dedicating the next link-up, which will be on Saturday, the 28th of September at 8 p.m. Italian time. Before we say goodbye, we would like to give greetings from many communities that, while the link-up was taking place, they wrote to us. We know that they followed us. For example, from Mariapolis Piero in Kenya, there was a group of Christians and Muslims together, and then they wrote to us from Burkina Faso, from Uruguay, from Venezuela, Portugal, and from many Italian cities, Nettuno, Vetriglia, Matera, and there's photos. These are the Gen who are in Guaratinguetá, in Fazenda Esperança, in Fortaleza, in Brazil, Mariapolis Gineta. There's the Gen who have already arrived in Brazil to prepare the Genfest. So this is also our next appointment with all the updates of the Genfest, but for the next link-up on Saturday, 28th of September, 8 p.m. Italian time. So bye to everyone.